Hey everyone, it's Jackie folks. Welcome back to Awesome Talk, where we talk about autism 100% of the time, keeping it as real as we can. So today is our fourth video, and I'm actually super excited for this video because all I'm going to do in this video is share some tips with you on things that I did in my home to make education for my son, early education for my son, fun and something that he can handle with his autism, his lack of attention, and his sensory problems. So we are going to jump right in, and I'm just going to give you some examples that I hope that if you're struggling for ways to not only play but teach your kid at home, I'm going to share these with you and hopefully they'll help you. So some of the things that we did in our home, if you've watched the previous videos, we started with organization. I have shared with you that we organized our playroom in the clear tubs and put photographs on the outside of those tubs to help him find the toys he was looking for. It also lowered his frustration level. It heightened our enjoyment when it came to playtime, and it helped his brothers too, that when they wanted to go into the playroom, they weren't just walking into a mess and screaming. It was very hard on them as well. So we did these things, yes, for Ethan, but we did them for ourselves and we did them for our other children. Organizing that playroom was huge, and it sounds overwhelming and it sounds daunting, but if you just take the time and start slow, maybe just do it 1 or 2 bins at a time. Again, just separate the toys out. Here's the Legos, here's the superheroes, here's the Hot Wheels. Put them in their own place, put a photograph on the outside, and it's going to help your child find what they're looking for. And eventually, it'll lead to them also helping with cleanup and putting things away. So that's one thing with learning how to function in the playroom that we did. We took organization, photographs, and levels to a whole different level in this house, and we can get into that more. We turned it into something we had in his bedroom, on his dresser. We had a behavioral photo chart that was a stop sign. I'll talk about that later because that was amazing. But eventually, when my third son came along, we needed to take our upstairs playroom and turn that into a nursery. So we set the family room up downstairs as a playroom, and I knew that this was a great opportunity, starting from scratch, to turn it into an educational center at the house. And we had a small trampoline with handlebars that Ethan could go to when he needed to release some energy. We had the hippity hop balls that you could hold on to, and we would do things like spread out numbers on the floor, and we'd tell him to hop to 1, hop to 6, hop to 3. Or we would put shapes and say hop on the square. So he's getting sensory input from the hippity hop while he's learning. And they have those mats now. They didn't have them when my son was little, but those foam mats that are squares that you could just toss around your floor and tell him to hop back and forth. So that would be a great resource, and it is a super fun game, and like I said, it gives the sensory input at the same time. Another thing I did was I just went to a garage sale and I found a very low to the ground desk that had a huge drawer in it, and I pulled that drawer out, and what I did was I just poured unpopped popcorn into that drawer. And then I bought from the dollar store wooden puzzles that were ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And I took the puzzle pieces out and dumped them in that drawer, and I just threw the bases away and mixed them up in the unpopped popcorn. So Ethan could take his hands and put him in the drawer, and we'd say find, the A or find the B. And that was a little hard. So what we started doing was just as he pulled them out, we'd have him tell us what he found. But he again was getting sensory input by putting his hands in that unpopped popcorn. And you can do that with so many things. You could use rice. It was messy, but I did not care when it got on the floor because I knew what we were saving in the long run, which was frustration. And I always tried to turn playtime into education time. Of course, there were times where it meant nothing. We just played to play, but my goal was to always play with a purpose. And so I tried to find fun ways to do that. Our favorite game, to this day, we still talk about it, was a game that we called Magic Carpet. And I was able to just take some paint, and all along one of the walls in the playroom, I just painted ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, uppercase letters, lowercase letters. I put shapes, I put colors. They were just all over the wall. If you walked in, it was just a mishmashed wall of what is this? But I knew what it was. And what I would do with my son was we would go down into the playroom, and we just had a carpet, and we'd spread it on the floor, and Ethan knew it was magic carpet time, and we'd turn all the lights off, and I gave him a flashlight, and I would tell him to find the lowercase a, and then he would take the flashlight and find the A, and if he got it right, we'd just grab the sides of the carpet and pretend like we were flying. That was just something I came up with that worked extremely well for us, and we used it for years. And I got to tell you that when my younger son got to the age where he was learning ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, colors and shapes in preschool, I did the same thing with him. A lot of these things that I did for my son Ethan from the special education standpoint, I turned around and used with my younger son just for general learning, and wished that I had thought of these great things for my older son, because they were really good and fun ways to learn. So Magic Carpet, make it your own. Aladdin just came out, so it's actually perfect timing if you want to try something like that. And you don't have to paint your wall, you can hang things up, but we did because we knew it was going to be a playroom for a very, very long time. And of course it's been painted over now, but that was definitely one of his favorite games. We would also take time where we would just have a kind of like a dry erase board or a plexi board or whatever, and use shaving cream so he could write and practice his name. Anything that had educational and sensory purpose, we tried to incorporate into playtime. I was lucky enough to be able to work from home and spend a lot of time with my son, and I know that a lot of you are not that blessed, and I commend you, because I don't know how you do it. I would be able to work from home as long as I took my calls, and then I would mainly log on in the evening and work all night to catch up and stay on track with my work. But if you have a daycare center or wherever you take your child, if you can talk to them about implementing these games, or even just for evening play in your home, start with 1 or 2 things. The other thing I did was just different folder games, and these were so hard to come by all these years ago, but now you can go online and search. I think it's Teachers Pay Teachers, Amazon. These things are so readily available. They were not all those years ago, so we just kind of made things as we went along. But I just took basic file folders, and this is one of them, where you can see there's shapes and colors. And then over here is just a Ziploc baggie where you will go in and find the correlation and match them. So that's one game we did. We also did ice cream cones. This one was very cool, and again, you just have a Ziploc baggie. So obviously this cone right here would get matched to this cone. So that's fun and educational. We did dinosaur numbers. This one was fun too, and on the inside you'll see it's just really simple basic concepts where you have these squares and you're just matching. So you're just overlaying. And then we did alphabet. Same exact thing, alphabet dinosaur match. And again, they're just in baggies. You can make anything out of these folders. My cousin Marty, if you're watching, shout out to Marty. She made what we still refer to today as Ethan's magic books. She made those for me when he was first diagnosed, and I was still in that, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have no idea what to do stage. And she printed off things similar to this, and she just bound them together for us and sent them in the mail. And they were just little stories where we would have little Velcro apps, and in the back he would peel if it said, this sheep is pink. So he'd go to the back and find the pink and peel it and then stick it. So he was also getting sensory input from the Velcro. And then we also did simple sorting games where we would line up blocks, and sometimes we would weight them down. That way he also had the pressure from the weight with lifting, and we'd say line them from big to little and little to big. And mind you, none of this happened overnight because he still had to learn the concept of big to little and little to big, but he was learning through play. He was getting sensory input. I turned our playroom into a comfortable learning center for him, so he felt safe and was able to try things. And I didn't come up with all of it on my own. The hippity hop, that was something that he started using in OT at school, so I just implemented it at home. Definitely listen to those around you and take their ideas and try to turn them into ideas in your home, and vice versa. Share your ideas with the school and talk to them about getting on board and say, this is what works at home. We've got to get it working in the school too. Remember, that's your job to advocate, and it's their job to listen. Nobody knows your kid better than you. So yeah, go online. There's a ton of resources, and just find yourself some folders, make some fun stuff, go to a garage sale, try really hard to adapt yourself to the idea that what keeps our kids out of regression is constant stimulation. So yes, school's over at 3:00, but for us with our kids, that doesn't mean the learning stops. But it also doesn't mean that the learning can't be fun. So turn the learning into games. These are some ideas that we did. I hope that they help you. They are super fun. If you have more questions about them, send me a message, leave a comment. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to share some links with you. Just don't be afraid to ask. And again, as always, like, share, comment. We are enjoying this journey so far, and I hope that this one was fun and exciting. I plan to talk to you more the next time about some ABA home store therapy that we did. I'm real excited to share that with you. It was unique, and I don't know of a lot of other people who do it, so I really want to share all the details, and maybe you can set one up in your home. So all right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Bye.